it, but again, in a society, or there is a lot of misunderstanding, which especially people in the West fall victim to, and this is that the assumption that women would be oppressed, or in a way, I mean, surely, I mean, we must be very careful, and careful is meaning there are indeed women who are being oppressed. This is not only among migrant groups, this is as well as among Austrian, as well as German women. This is beyond doubt. This is a fact that there is oppression. This is happening. This is happening behind closed doors. This is happening in the public, whatever. But as well as that, there is a considerable amount of people who choose to be this, or who even get approval to be this. I mean, and we talked about antagonism, and of course we have to talk about fear as well. I mean, this is if you especially from a male perspective. I mean, if everyone talks about feminism and so on, and this is of course an issue about sexuality. This is an issue about man who, especially in our age, with all this this narrowing down of physical features. I mean, of course, this is threatening. Of course, you feel uncomfortable. Of course, you associate feminism with a woman who just wants to whore around. I mean, this is when you see many far right groups as well. So this has nothing to do with migrant men. But if you only see this field is so emancipation as in that sense, of course, it was necessary. It helped women to finally get equality, despite but it was never, or it is still in process. It is not over, but nevertheless, this emancipation of women came partially with a shock for men, because which role do you play in a society now? I mean, especially when back in the days we talked about a little bit, you were the sole male breadwinner. The woman would be dependent on you as a man. This is how you would gain favor. This is how you made women like you, love you. This was the assumption. This was how you feel. And now you ask yourself, now with equality, how can you make a woman fall in love with you? Is this all about sex and so on? So this, of course, pushes you in a certain spot, and this can as well as be for women as well. I mean, if you have to compete with over sexuality, this is what we talked about in social media. I mean, if you scroll down on social media, all these half naked women, I mean, if you, the longer you do it, the more and more those girls, they look all the same and look partially interchangeable. This is and this is can or maybe threatened, and this, as a woman as well. I mean, what does it mean? Especially love is would be very important. What you would have to talk about it and so on. But despite the fact of this antagonism, despite that you are being a social outcast, this is what you see. I mean, in the rap videos we talked about. Despite the fact, yet this is still comes with a well-being. Still comes with approval. This example, as well as with the body positive, where women, chubby women, post on social media, then get approval. I mean, this is something you wouldn't have seen, I would say, a decade or two. I mean, so this has changed in itself, and this is of course addicted. And the more this is some sort of taken away from reality, the more it will be the more you will need social media, especially to enhance your well-being. And that's why it is accurate to say that that social media sells a commodity, and this is a proof like any other society as well. I mean, social media is not an issue, is not the problem. It is rather those conflicts in the society, those ambiguities in the society, those contradictions in the society that lead the people seeking if you want fringes where they can create a subculture, counter culture. I mean, one very famous is rap, body culture, what have you. I mean, and this is all about appreciate and social media. It would be weird. I mean, it would be weird if social media would not work in the same systems like it in society, because then social media would be a surreal game which has nothing to do with reality or how you find things in reality. But this is not the case, quite the contrary. It is the difference of social media and reality is actually one, and this is that you can get emotional well-being faster as you can get it in reality, because in reality you would not find immediately people who tell you right away that they like you, that they appreciate whatever you're doing, or that have positive comments on you, or negative comments, especially if you need these negative comments as a way to approve or as an approval that you're right. However, this is very important. This is reality, and of course, what we want to talked about a little bit. This all happens to a goal and to a purpose, and I think we have to talk about it, especially what is purpose and how can you differentiate between purpose and responsibility, because I think we should narrow it down and later on goal, because goal is rather the object which is valuable. I mean, we talked about the antagonism, about manliness. This is being successful. This means manly. This is and this would be the purpose. For example, why you seek money, why you seek cars, why you have to have a lot of women, because this comes with manliness. This is associated with manliness, with being successful, because this is not different from the mainstream culture that if you're a man, you are still the one who takes care of your wife, you're still the one who has the money, who is the boss, who is successful in being a man, and this is what is then represented in your wealth, in your car, whatever you have. However, and this goal, this material goal, then gives you some sort of purpose, meaning to your life, and meaning to your life is indeed different from responsibility, because responsibility is different, and we have to differentiate from it in order to have a clear understanding. And again, I searched Google for it, for what responsibility means, but to say that advanced, I mean, of course, it is clear that a native speaker will not look up responsibility. So, I know when you learn another language that some people or things may be clear to you, but for others not so. But however, this is what we understand, especially in a Google search. This is what we understand of responsibility in our daily use, and this means, I mean, in Google search, this is the Google dictionary you find in the Google browser, and their responsibility means a state or fact, having a duty to deal with something, or having control over someone. Then another definition is the state or fact of being accountable or to be blamed for something. Thirdly, the opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. So this would be rather in military terms or in businesses. And fourthly, a thing that one is required to do as part of a job role or legal obligation. Think about if you are shop assistant or whatever that you have to, then a special part in the shop is your responsibility to keep clean. And fifthly, a moral obligation to behave correctly towards other and especially against elderly. I mean, how you should conduct yourself towards other. But we have to be aware what responsibility says here. I mean, we that you some sort of restrain your ego. This is what comes about. So, a responsibility is actually not about you. It is rather that you put back your well-being, well-being, or that you put back your own pleasure to help others to even enhance something, the functioning of something which actually is not a part of you, which actually does not give you any advantage. So responsibility is as well as something you would do, you would consider as doing something right. But responsibility is not a choice you have, because responsibility is rather the effects of the choice you made, the result. So if you make a choice, then you have to deal with the result of it, with the effects of it. For example, you don't have any responsibility to father a child yet. If you father a child, you have to take responsibility for fathering a child. This may be against your will or willingness, whatever you have it. However, here you see this is about your choice, and choice always implies that you have more than one alternative. I mean, you in our example, you had the choice not to have sex with a woman, but you choose to have sex with her. So choice always means that you had more than one option, that you had an alternative, and then responsibility is then the outcome, the result of your action. So it has to include you, but it preceded your choice. I mean, of course, people will now argue, yeah, you don't have always a free choice. I mean, this is of course difficult. It's like, is you going to work? Is this a choice, or are you forced to? I mean, I would say it is a choice, especially if it only includes you. If you only think about yourself, especially if you are single and if you do not want to go to work, this is your choice. This is because you can't. Because you could choose not to go to work, but responsibility is then beyond you. It has nothing, or it has partially to do with you, especially how you conduct yourself towards a choice you made previously. And thus responsibility implies that you previously have made a free choice, because a law or a court does not will not hold you in contempt or force you to make a free speech. No, this is rather your ability, this is rather your possibility that you can express your thoughts opinions, whatever, as freely. This is part of our